I just got through working out, man, and this is hilarious. Oh, man. It's always funny when these guys put their feet in their mouths because they don't have to do this. My detractors, I've said many times, are some of the dumbest people on earth. And I'm actually disappointed that that's the case. I got these gorgeous, these beautiful supporters, and I think so highly of them. And I'm very thankful of them, obviously. But my detractors, their quality is just in the shitter. Let's just say that. So this guy, I believe he's done videos talking about me. And it's this conspiracy among this idiot in his corner of the internet of haters that, well, you know, I never was actually into comic books and it's just something that I got on and they say I'm grifting and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And I'm going to walk you through this. Just look at how hilarious this is. So this guy initially says here, he's responding to a post that I retweeted. He says, she's not wrong, homie. If you launched ISOM without your built-in audience of angry fanboys, really shows how he thinks about the audience, it would flop about as bad as your rap career, which, again, idiot. Surface level research shows that I never really attempted to have a rap career. I have performed music, but my genre of choice and the genre that I have been in prominence in, let's say that, has been metalcore to be more direct in hardcore music. You'd be nothing without Marvel or DC, bro. I hope you thank them every day because without them, you might have to contribute to society. By the way, this guy's fat, and I brought it up that he was fat because he's immediately going to the whole insulting myself and my audience. So we are absolutely going to talk about your weight, and that's certainly what it is that I did. But look at some of the things it is that he says. He says, yeah, because Eric started all of this support to support his comic book career. A guy who has such passion for comics that he never talked about them or referenced them. I guess till he started his grift. Again, these guys use that term loosely. It doesn't mean anything coming from them. It basically just means guy that they don't like. Actual textbook definition would mean that I'm swindling something. I've committed some level of fraud. And I asked this guy to prove it. And he proved that we'll maybe see that in a minute, that he didn't actually know what this term actually means. He says, nothing says I love comics more than not talking about them till you got a business plan. Now, this is moronic because where he's trying to come from is that I guess with my older material, I wasn't talking about comics as much as therefore I've never been a fan of it. That's kind of silly. You have YouTubers, people that post videos, people that do really anything, let's say in the public, all the media figures, maybe that talk sports. Let's say that for an example, those commentating guys, you don't think they have other hobbies that they maybe not talk about or that they aren't really leading with? Of course they have other hobbies, and that's the case. It can be said for so many different people. I'm probably more knowledgeable in both track and field and boxing because I perform them, and I don't really do videos on those topics at all. Let's continue on. He says, what's some of the other cool, funny things? I'll get to where he just completely puts his foot in his mouth. He says, I don't know everything about him. I never said I did. I'm just saying based on public info I've covered on my live stream, trying to plug the shit that nobody's watching. Says, I don't believe Eric cared about comics up until he saw there was, I guess, money to be made pulling the Nerdrotic grip. Here's the hilarious thing. And this isn't a knock to my friend Nerdrotic, but I've been on YouTube longer than pretty much anybody in our corner. Number one. Number two is this is a relatively recent phenomena that Nerdrotic passed me in subscribers. Let's start there. And obviously when I first started even doing comic book based material in 2017, 2018, I had no idea who Nerdrotic was. Just look at the Social Blade and you will see there was a point in time where I had tens of thousands of subs and he had 8,000 subs. That was a thing. He says, let's see what else he says. Yes, again, for someone who pretends to be as knowledgeable and passionate about comics, it's fucking weird that you never talk about them or mention them in none of your early work. Again, it's so silly. It's I don't tell everybody every hobby that I do. I don't talk about it like that, but he's going to be wrong on this and I'm going to prove it to you. It wouldn't mean anything if it were anyone else, but considering your channel and business, yada, yada. Again, he's trying to wrongfully assume that, well, you started a comic book business because of some supposed grift. And I wasn't actually into this stuff. I just kind of latched myself onto it. And I talk about it's kind of failed career. He had a Spotify link that didn't even work. Maybe that's why he's actually mad, because I don't know, I have been the catalyst in 2 Billboard charting bands. And yeah, there's that. And he'll probably never, ever, ever do that. Maybe that's why he's mad. Again, talking about it here where he says, yes, 3 years ago. His stuff out there from way before that, though, and none of them are comics ever mentioned. So somebody showed him a video of me 3 years ago, actually almost 4 years ago, and he says he's like, oh, well, there's nothing before that. And this is where he's talking about the grift, where he says they're not grifters because they commit fraud. They're grifters because they're exploiting. That's not what grifters mean, by the way. He's using the term wrongfully. But this is where it gets hilarious, because he talks about this whole 3 years thing, right? He says, no, this is what he says. He says, nor had he ever worn a shirt from a superhero. Not once. I never said he had to only talk about it, but if you listen to his early stuff or watch it, nothing ever even references DC or Marvel. Weird for a guy who mainly covers comic books. And I showed him this picture, and I'm going to give you context. This is the first time I ever appeared on Blaze. This is almost 8 years ago. And my first appearance on Blaze in 2015, look at the shirt. It ain't just a just regular Marvel shirt. It's a throwback. That was on my first appearance. Now, this is long before there were people doing videos ragging on the MCU. It was just long before any of that, before people really started to grab hold and like really do videos and talk about the garbage and social justice nonsense. That is proof right here, but he wouldn't concede. He says, nor had he ever worn a shirt. So he says, and this what someone did here was show him a thumbnail from a cover that I did 6 full years ago. So it's probably close to 7 years ago of me doing a cover. And you can see all of this Marvel and some DC related stuff that was on my wall. This was long before I was even really doing videos like that on just comic books based videos. But you can see my love for it, and obviously in stuff, because usually, let's say this, my channel started off almost exclusively doing music based stuff in some way, shape, or form, whether it be the boogie stuff or it was the vocal covers. And if you watch those closely, you'd see that sometimes I had nerd based stuff, even though I didn't do full videos on it. Obviously, I don't even think there was a market for it back then. But you could see me wearing nerd based stuff, Marvel based stuff, some DC. Probably there was certainly some I know Pokemon based stuff. I remember videos me doing have Pikachu shirt on and a Mew shirt on, all that, Rocco's Modern Life. I had all of that stuff on, and this was before I had ever even knew what the Blaze was. Sorry, I dropped that. But this is gonna get hilarious. Right here, I helped him out, and let me see if I don't know where the picture went, but I helped him out. Nope, let me back up right there. So I helped him out here, and I showed him because he wanted to post about right here. It says you're proving, because he wanted to move the post, right? So he says, actually, the earliest picture you got of you sporting anything related to comics is when you're about to go on the Blaze. Really proves what I assumed. So he tried to move the post. At first, he was like, well, 3 years ago, that was the last time. And then he moved it because I showed him something that was 8 years ago. And then now he's like, well, it proves something, I guess, because what I appeared on the Blaze with a Marvel shirt. And he thought that was the most recent, I guess the oldest video, not video, but let's say a picture that I could find. Moving the post. Won't concede because he's an arrogant piece of trash. And then I show him here. He said, look at him, insulting the audience. You know, Eric thinks y'all are dumb as much as I do. And then I show him more receipts. And here, right here, is in 2013. Believe I was still in Fire from the Gods. And this is me performing in a Thor shirt. Performing in a Thor shirt in 2013. And then I did him one even better. In 2011, here you see me, beard's kind of light. I was, 21 years old. And I have a Hulk shirt on. And then he finally concedes. Oh, never mind. I saw the full pictures. Okay, fair enough, man. I was wrong. My bad. And I said, don't be sorry, ho. Be careful, in the words of Cat Williams. I don't accept this. That's a half-tailed apology because he's not going to use the same energy that he did. Was doing videos and doing other weird stuff, all these comments, talking down. He's not going to use that same energy to correct his statements at all. He just had to get so much evidence to where it was undeniable. Yes, I have been a comic book fan nearly my entire life. That's just the facts. Pretty sure if I went through my mother's like one of the picture books, probably see some stuff with me as a kid. It's just what it is. And you can be mad all you want. I was doing it before it was like cool. People were doing all these videos. I was rocking that stuff on stage, performing music that didn't even pertain to comic book, but I was showing my love for it. Those are the facts. And see, my detractors, guys, you can avoid looking this stupid. You don't have to be this much of a dumbass. All you have to do is do your due diligence. I understand you hate me. I understand that you don't like someone that you consider your political enemy has seen this level of success, and he's liked by people that you don't like. But being mad at me ain't gonna change anything. And to that fat son of a bitch, stop worrying about me and go work on your weight. You being as fat as you are shows that you have no discipline. It shows your time preference issues. And it shows that you have far too much time on your hands because you got to go out your way to be that fat. And you instead are worrying about other stuff when you should be working on yourself. Seriously. Go do some laps and then maybe you can report back. Matter of fact, maybe if you did all that working out to get back in shape, if you ever were, you could like have something else to take that energy out on, right? Instead of going out of your way to look like a complete stupid son of a bitch in front of the thousands of people that are going to watch this video. You did it to yourself. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.